Most men don't realize that the most dangerous thing affecting their manhood isn't happening during the day, it's happening while they sleep. I've had hundreds of men over 60 come into my clinic, scratching their heads, wondering why their energy, performance, and confidence have faded even though they eat fairly well and take their vitamins. But when I ask them about one simple thing they do every night, the answer nearly always explains everything. It's not what they're eating, it's not even their medications. It's something much simpler, something that happens quietly, in bed, every single night. And chances are, you might be doing it too. Let me tell you about Martin. He's 67, a retired engineer, married for 42 years. He came to see me a few months ago, embarrassed but honest. He said, "Doc, everything feels different lately. My mornings aren't the same. I'm not waking up like I used to. I feel weak, sluggish. Even my wife says I snore louder than before." He thought it was just part of aging. But as we talked more, I realized his problem had nothing to do with age, and everything to do with his nightly habits. I'm Dr. Nolan Easton, and for over 30 years, I've helped men over 60 regain strength, stamina, and confidence by understanding how their bodies really work. Not the myths, not the quick fixes, but the truth. And if you've ever felt like your vitality has quietly slipped away, especially in the last few years, then this message might be exactly what you need to hear tonight. See, what Martin didn't realize is that your body does some of its most important repair work while you're asleep. Testosterone is produced, blood flow is restored, and tissues, including those vital to your manhood, rejuvenate themselves. But when something interferes with that process, your body can't do its nightly repair job. It's like trying to refuel your car while the hose is kinked. You can't get the energy in. And the something that interfered with Martin's recovery was surprisingly simple: poor nighttime posture, lack of oxygen, and overheating. You'd be amazed how many men unknowingly damage their circulation and testosterone balance just by the way they sleep. Now, before I explain exactly what happens, take a quick second for me, my friend. If you're over 60 and you've noticed changes in your energy, your drive, or your morning vitality, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. It helps me reach more men like you, and I actually read your comments myself. So drop a simple yes or no below if what I'm saying sounds familiar. I use your answers to plan the next videos and address what really matters most to you. All right, so back to Martin. He told me that every night he fell asleep on his back, head elevated by 2 thick pillows. It seemed comfortable enough, but over time, that position compressed the major arteries and veins along his pelvis. His body wasn't getting proper nighttime blood flow, especially to his lower regions. Add to that the extra body heat trapped under his heavy blanket, and you've got the perfect storm for reducing testosterone output and damaging circulation. You see, your reproductive system is extremely sensitive to heat and pressure. Even a few degrees of temperature change can alter how well your body produces vital hormones. That's why nature designed things to be cooler down there. But as we get older, we tend to pile on layers, sleep in tight-fitting shorts, or use electric blankets. It feels cozy, but it's quietly disrupting one of the most delicate systems in your body. And the scary part? You won't feel it happening. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't wake you up. It just slowly drains your vitality over time, night after night. When I showed Martin how something as simple as changing his sleeping position, switching to breathable cotton sheets, and lowering his room temperature could restore his nighttime circulation, he was skeptical. But 3 weeks later, he came back grinning. His mornings had changed, his energy was back. He even said, "Doc, my wife's been giving me that look again." That's the kind of transformation that reminds me why I do what I do. Because for men over 60, these aren't small wins, they're life-changing ones. And it all starts by understanding that your nighttime environment can either build you up or quietly tear you down. When Martin came back to my clinic that second time, I could see the difference before he even said a word. His shoulders were straighter. His voice had more strength. He wasn't dragging his feet anymore. "Doc," he said, "I didn't realize how much damage I was doing to myself just by sleeping the wrong way." That moment still sticks with me because it's such a simple truth that so many men overlook. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to things that once seemed harmless. The way we breathe, the way we rest, even how much light or heat is in the room, it all affects how much oxygen and testosterone your body can produce overnight. And that's the key word, oxygen. Most men don't realize that your manhood depends heavily on nighttime oxygen flow. Without enough of it, your tissues, especially those related to performance, don't regenerate properly. Here's what happens. When you lie in certain positions, especially on your back with your head and neck elevated too high, it subtly compresses the main blood vessels in your pelvis. You might not notice it, but that small restriction reduces the amount of oxygen-rich blood reaching your lower regions. And when that happens night after night, it weakens the very structures that keep your manhood strong and healthy. You might think, "Doc, I don't feel short of breath when I sleep." But that's just it. You wouldn't. This is a quiet process. It's not like gasping for air. It's more like running your car engine all night with the air intake partially blocked. Everything still works, but less efficiently, less powerfully, until the engine starts losing its edge. And here's the part that surprises most men. Even mild snoring or sleep apnea can multiply the problem. Every time you snore, you're momentarily cutting off oxygen. Your body jolts awake just enough to restart breathing, but not enough for you to notice. Meanwhile, those micro-interruptions lower your testosterone levels, raise your blood pressure, and damage the fragile blood vessels that supply your manhood. I had another patient, George, 72, retired bus driver, father of 3, who said, "Doc, my wife keeps elbowing me because I snore, but I feel fine." Well, when we tested his oxygen levels during sleep, they dropped almost 25% several times a night. Within a month of using a few of my simple nighttime breathing adjustments, he said, "I haven't felt this alive in 10 years." So, here's the takeaway. What's destroying your performance isn't always a lack of pills or fancy supplements. It's often a lack of oxygen and blood flow during your most crucial recovery hours. That's the real reason so many men wake up tired, unmotivated, and disconnected from their vitality. Now, before I go deeper into how you can reverse this damage, I want to take a moment to say, if this message resonates with you, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I read through every comment, and when you drop a quick yes or no below, it helps me tailor my next videos to your specific struggles. This isn't just medical talk, it's real advice for real men who still have so much life ahead of them. All right, let's get practical. If you're over 60, your body's nighttime repair process slows down. That's natural, but what's not natural is how many of us sabotage that repair without realizing it. Keeping your room too warm, above 72 degrees Fahrenheit, reduces your deep sleep quality and increases testicular heat. Sleeping with tight underwear or synthetic fabrics traps moisture and heat, further reducing oxygen and hormone production. And using more than one pillow, while it feels comfortable, can alter your neck and chest alignment, slightly narrowing your airway. When I explained all this to Martin, he laughed and said, "So, Doc, my pillow's the villain?" And I told him, "Not exactly, but it's part of the crime scene." We switched him to a single, low-support pillow, recommended a light cotton sheet instead of a heavy comforter, and encouraged him to sleep on his side. Just those 3 changes, simple, cost-free, transformed his sleep. Within weeks, he told me his energy felt renewed, he wasn't dozing off during the day, and those morning signs of manly vitality back in full force. This is what I want every man watching right now to understand. Your body has not given up. It's not broken. It's simply being blocked from oxygen, from blood flow, from the chance to rebuild itself every night. Once you remove those blocks, your natural strength can return, sometimes faster than you think.
When Martin first learned how much his nightly posture and bedroom environment affected his manhood, he was shocked. But when I showed him what was actually happening inside his body because of it, that's when things really clicked. And this part, my friend, is something every man over 60 needs to hear. See, most men think testosterone levels drop simply because they're getting older. But that's not the full story. Aging plays a role, yes, but the bigger issue is what your body's doing or failing to do while you sleep. You could eat right, exercise, even take supplements, but if your body isn't releasing the right hormones overnight, none of that will stick. It's like trying to charge your phone while the power cord's loose. You wake up to find the battery's still low. Let's go back to Martin's case for a second. Before he fixed his sleeping habits, his body was constantly in what I call nighttime stress mode. His oxygen levels dipped repeatedly, his blood vessels constricted, his body temperature stayed too high. All that sent a signal to his brain: we're under pressure, produce less testosterone. Over time, that low signal became the new normal. What happens next is a domino effect that too many men mistake for getting old. Lower testosterone means less muscle, more fat, especially around the belly. That extra fat, in turn, produces more estrogen, and that estrogen further lowers your testosterone. It's a vicious cycle that can quietly erode your energy, confidence, and even emotional stability. You might have noticed it yourself, feeling less motivated in the morning, less focused, or just not as upbeat as you used to be. You may even find yourself more irritable or withdrawn, not realizing that your body chemistry is behind it. That's the hidden consequence of those nightly mistakes. Now, here's something I tell all my patients. Your body doesn't care about your age. It cares about your environment. When you create the right conditions, even a 70-year-old body can behave like a 40-year-old one. Martin is living proof. After just a few weeks of sleeping cooler, adjusting his posture, and improving airflow, his testosterone readings improved by 22%. His morning energy returned, and he even started lifting light weights again. "Doc, I haven't felt this drive in years," and I'll tell you, his wife looked just as happy when she came in for a checkup. But beyond testosterone, there's another vital factor: blood flow. Poor nighttime circulation doesn't just affect performance, it affects your entire vascular health. That same restricted flow can lead to fatigue, dizziness, and even memory lapses. When your body doesn't get the oxygen it needs at night, your brain suffers too. One of the biggest red flags I see in men over 60 is when they start waking up feeling groggy even after a full night's sleep. That's not normal aging, that's poor oxygenation. When you improve that, the results are remarkable. Clearer thoughts, better mood, more motivation, and yes, stronger, healthier function where it matters most. Now, before I continue, if this message is striking a chord with you, do me and yourself a favor. Tap that like button and subscribe to this channel. It's the simplest way to support men's health education. And go ahead, leave a yes or no in the comments below if you've ever noticed your sleep affecting your energy or drive. I personally read every comment. It helps me plan what advice you need next. So how do you know if your body's stuck in that nighttime stress cycle? There are a few signs. You wake up in the middle of the night, often around 3 or 4 a.m., unable to fall back asleep. You sweat more than usual. You snore or breathe heavily. You wake up feeling thirsty or with a dry mouth. These are your body's ways of saying, "I'm not getting enough oxygen and I'm overheating." If that sounds familiar, don't panic, because the fix is surprisingly gentle. You don't need expensive gadgets or medication. You just need to train your body back into balance. The first step is to lower your bedroom temperature to around 67 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the sweet spot for deep restorative sleep and optimal testosterone release. The second is to loosen your clothing. Let your body breathe. And third, make sure your neck and spine stay aligned so your airway remains open all night. I know, it sounds simple, but I've seen it work for hundreds of men. When your body finally gets uninterrupted, oxygen-rich sleep, everything changes. Your testosterone rebounds naturally, your confidence rises, your mood lifts. It's like the fog clears and you remember what feeling like yourself actually feels like again. I'll never forget George, the retired bus driver I mentioned earlier. After fixing his nighttime breathing pattern, he told me, "Doc, my mornings are alive again." He started walking daily, eating better, and even joined a local fitness group for seniors. He said it felt like he'd been given a second wind. When Martin and I met again a few months later, he wasn't the same man who had first walked into my office. His handshake was stronger, his eyes were brighter, and his confidence was back. He said, "Doc, I didn't realize how one small change at night could make me feel like I got 20 years of my life back." That's when I smiled and told him what I'm about to tell you right now. Real recovery, real vitality doesn't happen at the gym or in the doctor's office. It happens quietly, while you sleep. So tonight, I want you to think of your bedroom as your body's repair workshop. Every choice you make, from the light in the room to the fabric on your bed, either helps your body rebuild or tears it down slowly. When men come to me saying, "Dr. Easton, I'm tired, I've lost my drive, my performance isn't the same," I always start by asking about their nighttime habits. Not their diet, not their medications, their nights. If you want to restore your testosterone, circulation, and manly strength after 60, your nights need to become sacred. That means creating the perfect environment for your hormones and blood flow to work the way nature intended. Start with temperature. The ideal sleeping temperature for a man over 60 is around 66 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Any warmer, and you're signaling your body to shut down testosterone production. Remember, your reproductive system needs to stay slightly cooler. When you overheat, your body protects itself by lowering hormone activity. That's why sleeping under heavy blankets or in synthetic pajamas slowly chips away at your manhood over time. Next, oxygen. Keep that air flowing. A simple ceiling fan, cracked window, or air purifier can do wonders. Stale air reduces oxygen, which means less nightly repair for your blood vessels and tissues. And if you snore or your partner says you stop breathing briefly during the night, that's not something to ignore. It's a warning. It means your airways collapsing while you sleep, and that silent oxygen loss is slowly robbing your body of strength and vitality. Posture is the third secret. Try to sleep on your side with your head level, not propped up by multiple pillows. When your neck and back are aligned, your airway stays open, your breathing stays deep, and your circulation flows freely through the pelvis. That one simple position can make a world of difference. Then comes light. I can't stress this enough. Turn off screens at least 30 minutes before bed. Blue light from phones, TVs, or tablets tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, shutting down your melatonin and reducing deep sleep. And deep sleep is where testosterone and growth hormone are released. Without it, your body can't rebuild itself. And finally, silence, or at least calm. The body doesn't enter full recovery mode if it senses stress. That means falling asleep to the news, your phone buzzing nearby, or worrying thoughts running through your mind can all raise your nighttime stress hormones, undoing hours of recovery. Instead, create a routine. Dim the lights, breathe deeply, maybe stretch for 5 minutes. That's your body's signal that it's time to repair. Martin did all this, and his transformation was incredible. He didn't take a single medication or supplement. Just by fixing his sleep environment and posture, he reignited his testosterone naturally. Within months, his blood work improved, his circulation returned to normal, and he